All right, welcome back to another episode of Bottom of the Net or the Back of the Net. And this is episode 24, I believe it is. And we just finished wrapping up the quarterfinals of the World Cup. So we're going to be talking about the round of 16, the World Cup, the teams that have been knocked out, the refereeing, transfer rumors, a bunch of different things that have been going around. And we're actually going to get straight into it. And we're going to talk about Netherlands, USA. Danny, I know that's your boys, so how do you feel about that performance?
Bad performance. The goal that we got was very lucky. I don't know if you guys remember the Haji right goal. It was like a really weird, unorthodox hit. Um, but yeah, Netherlands just knew how to get through us. We didn't play with that attacking mindset, that resilient mindset that we did in the other games. We tried
17
subbing on.
shots on target. I mean, 17 shots total. Only 3 on target, though, I think.
We couldn't get through Netherlands defense,
Yeah.
and but that was the main thing. We tried something on like Gio Reyna to see if he could do something, and yeah, it just wasn't enough. I think it was a reality check that USA is good, but that's all that they are, and there's a lot of room for improvement still.
I think it was
But
a.
I think USA should be happy with what they did. Because they could have fumbled that World Cup so easily, especially in that group, which is it's not an easy group for them. So I think they should be happy, and it's not a bad not a bad result for going into the next World Cup, which is going to be in their home turf. So.
I honestly think it's a. I think USA should be proud. It wasn't like they were absolutely battered by Netherlands, but they were a bit outclassed by them. But I definitely think they needed some humbling, not just the team, but like even just like the fans. Like no hate, like of obviously being born here, I obviously want to see them do well as well, even though I mainly support Portugal. Um,
A lot of
but
blind optimism.
there was a lot of blind optimism. Of course, you want to be, you want to like back the team and support them, etc. But there was just a lot of more like cockiness and arrogance behind it rather than like actually just supporting and hoping they do well, if that even makes sense. Um,
Media wise, you mean
yeah, yeah,
not the
yeah, yeah,
team.
yeah, yeah. Not the
Media
team,
wise,
not the team. Definitely not the team.
right?
Media wise, and like the fans, some of the fans. Again, this doesn't apply to everybody. But I also think it's just good experience for the youngsters. A lot of these people have not played it. A lot of the players have not played in a World Cup before, or something of that stature. So I really think this is just a building block, and I think they should be happy with how far that they got. And again, Netherlands just showed what they're about. Dumfries had an insane game and showed why he got his transfer to what was it, Inter from the last tournament where he was insane, again causing havoc from that right wing back spot. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't. I feel like a lot of people did expect Netherlands to kind of go through though
Right.
when it came to
Right. Yeah.
USA. And then before we get into the quarterfinal that the Netherlands are in, we have to talk about who they're playing, which was Argentina. In the round of 16, Argentina played against Australia, which was a lot tougher than I think a lot of people suspected it to be. Big up Australia for doing such a good job and really holding Argentina to the last seconds, literally. Aiden, you can talk more about that.
Yeah, Argentina. I mean, the game seemed pretty set early on. Australia never really looked a threat, to be honest.
Right.
They did well to like not get dicked by Argentina. I'd give them that. But like in the first half, Messi came in the 31st 35th minute and simply just passes it into the goal like typical Messi fashion. Great
Great
goal,
goal. Great goal.
great goal.
Was this the one with Lautaro missing a lot of chances or no?
Yes. So
Okay.
and then after Julian Alvarez in the second half comes out, scores. Great fit. Well, he pressures the goalkeeper. People would say it's a goalkeeping mistake. I could see it. But I think that's just good from him to run down the keeper there and get the ball and turn it in. Then comes the goal from nothing, which just I struggle to understand. Like it's football. This is World Cup tournament football. Like anything could happen at any point, and it just flips the game on its head. All of a sudden, Argentina are like struggling to hold the game like together, like they were for the entire previous minutes before. And then you have Latoro Martinez comes on for Julian Alvarez and bottles every single chance that he possibly can. Messi put it on a silver platter for him about 3 times, and he just could not put the ball in the back of the net.
I remember
And it
one
got
vividly that skied.
Yeah.
That just went like he literally placed all he had to
Yeah.
do was place it into the corner, and he skies.
He
it.
could have taken a touch. He had
Yeah.
time. He just sends it over the bar, and then the game just drags because Argentina have like Messi and Latoro up top alone. Messi is just trying his best, toys with the Australia defense, by the way, like absolutely plays with them. But then you just have Latoro missing all the chances, and then the ball comes to the other end, and it just looks shaky every single time. I can't remember who it was specifically, but an Australian man literally turned into Messi and almost scored one of the goals of the tournament, running
Oh
through the
yes,
entire...
I believe it was. I think it was Lecky. Something's telling me that's Lecky, which he's played in the Bundesliga before, so he has quality for sure.
Ran through the entire team.
18-year-old Kual, in the dying minutes of the game, almost
equalized
it.
Yeah,
Which-
that was
And he would have been a hero for Australia. And
But
this
then-
is another one where it's like props to Australia for getting that far in a group nobody thought they would get through in. And yeah, that's great for Australian football.
We've seen that a lot
they made it
more this World
interesting.
Cup, I feel like, than we've seen in a lot of others. There's always upsets, but I feel like this World Cup we've seen a lot. And, you know, I was going to bring this up to you guys really quick before we do continue, since now there's less games, we have a bit more time to speak about things. Do you think, and all of you guys can answer this or whatever, or maybe you want to chime in, do you guys think that there are quote-unquote upsets anymore, or are we just seeing a higher quality of player at each of these nations? Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? So are these nations as football players, as their clubs at their home nations, etc., are they just getting better as players, so the international teams are, you know, a lot harder to break down? Because, for example, Australia is a team that we never thought would get out the group, first of all, and then to even give a match to Argentina, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that these things are unheard of, but I feel like we're seeing a lot more consistently. I don't know.
I'd like to speak on it. I think there's always been upsets, of course, but I think a big thing is countries probably putting countries putting in more money towards youth academies and youth facilities and stuff like that. Like with America, I know money's being pumped like crazy toward these youth facilities. So I think that's a big thing. And soccer culture is just, as if it wasn't big enough, it's just growing at a really quick speed right now. So I that's one thing I've noticed. I've just seen it get bigger and bigger. I thought it couldn't get big enough, like couldn't get any bigger, but like pause. But yeah, everybody wants to play soccer now. Literally everybody wants to play soccer.
No, I think excuse me. I genuinely think you're going to see that in the States, especially with the next World Cup going to North America. Right, you're going to see these countries because nobody wants to end up looking like Qatar, right? Like that's the whole idea, is put a lot of money into your nations. In terms of upsets, no, I genuinely think we still have upsets, right? You still have your smaller nations, like look at Saudi Arabia, like that was an upset.
Right.
It's the teams with history and then the teams without it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think the FIFA coefficient rankings plays a part in it, like Belgium being second going out in the group stages. So I think the coefficient also plays a part in terms of the FIFA rankings.
Right.
But genuinely, I think this World Cup, right? So I'm looking at it, and I don't know whether it's a hot take or not, but I'm seeing a lot of bigger teams becoming very average, right? Like if it wasn't for Messi, Argentina would have been out in the group stage. Like they don't have a goal scorer apart from Messi. He
Like
sort
the
of
playing field
he
level.
Julian Alvarez.
like no, but the thing with Argentina is right. Messi scores that first goal to relieve the pressure, and then you see the other players then chiming on. And you're seeing that with a whole bunch of different nations. Like Belgium were exactly the same. It's just a really aging squad. So I think it's that crossover between age and youth where France are quite lucky because they literally have a conveyor belt of talent, right? You're kind of seeing that here in England as well. So some nations are very lucky in that regard. But even if you think of Brazil, right? Like Richarlison, absolute baller, but he's not like a R9.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you don't really have them players anymore. Like Neymar. Neymar is average. He had like a couple of seasons when he was at Barcelona where he was outstanding and then just got injured, and you're just seeing that age with an aging Brazil squad. So I don't know. I don't know if there are upsets anymore as such because you're just seeing that crossover at this point in time.
The
Like-
playing field is more level.
I was gonna say like Danny.
Yeah.
Danny said is the playing field more level. Like, do you think that those gaps in between, like, obviously, if you think about even as far as 10 years
No, but
ago,
so,
like,
so no,
the
but this
gap
is
between
but-
Argentina, Saudi Arabia would be huge.
yeah, but
Do you
the
think
issue is that
that's-
10 years ago, Argentina's golden generation weren't in their 30s; they were in their 20s, right? Like Belgium's golden generation were in their 20s. It's not. I don't. This is what I'm trying to say is that I don't think it's the gap is getting closer. I think it's the ages are just dropping and they haven't got the youth coming back through. It's the same people that are still there. It's just that they've got old,
Fair.
right?
I
So-
I get what you're saying.
It's so tricky to be like, oh yeah, it's an upset. It really is. But look at Croatia. Croatia are the outliers, right? They do have an aging squad and they're actually causing upsets, but they reached the last final.
Right.
They're a really good team.
Yeah.
They did really well in the last Euros.
Right. Right.
So that's what
Yeah.
I'm
I just
saying.
bring that up because we've seen Saudi Arabia, beating Argentina. We've seen Japan beating Germany and Spain. You know what I'm saying? We've
Yep.
seen Tunisia putting up fights in their group. We've seen Australia getting to the round of 16 and bringing Argentina all the
Morocco.
way up into what?
Morocco.
Look at Morocco in the semis. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's why I just asked that because I just feel like maybe it's just this World Cup thing because even Aiden was saying like he doesn't really watch international football too crazy, but this is probably one of the better international tournaments we've had in a while.
It has
Oh,
been.
for sure.
So
for
maybe
sure.
maybe it's
definitely.
just part of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's all what I'm really asking. But anyway,
Yeah, no. I completely agree with that.
right.
It is. It has been a really good tournament. I want to say that, right? We all had a lot of trepidation, a lot of nobody was as hyped for this World Cup, really, right?
Yeah.
Because of everything that was surrounding it. It actually has been on the field a very good World Cup.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, 10 times better than 2018. I
sure.
Yeah.
did not enjoy that tournament at all.
For sure. So we had Netherlands pass through and Argentina pass through, and then they met in the quarterfinals, which ended in penalties. I mean, I'll just speak on it a little bit, Aiden, before I bring it to you, just to give a quick summary, and then you could go into a little more detail. But we saw Argentina cruising almost. You know what I mean? To a certain extent, we saw them cruising. Netherlands really, I feel like, struggled to get into the game overall, and we had the Molina goal, which you saw what it meant to him when he scored. He literally hugged Messi and cried into his arms. I was watching the game, and then Messi scoring the penno in the 73rd minute, and then 6'6" or whatever his name is, Weghorst comes on 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and just gets a double in 7 minutes, and boom, we're going to extra time. Which that free kick, by the way, at the end, and the literally last kick of the game is just from a mutual perspective.
The yellow cards.
Yeah, from a mutual perspective, that's just top tier entertainment. Like I love to see that, but and then there was a
last
lot
minute
of
goals,
yeah,
tension, yellow cards, fights,
yeah,
penalties, foul calls that should or shouldn't have happened. The Messi handball situation, like everything that you want in a everything that you want in a game, unless you're a Netherlands fan or whatever. Like it was in that game.
So
So
before we get into
I-
some specific
penalties.
Before we get
Go
into
on.
some specific topics, I just want to ask Aiden for his opinion since he is, supporting Argentina and Messi to go all the way. So I just want your opinion on this overall and how Argentina is doing in your eyes.
Oh, on the game.
Mhm.
Well, the game played out as I expected it to because I did not rate like Netherlands beat USA 3-1, but like they never really looked like a proper threat, and they hadn't throughout the entire tournament. So whilst I was nervous, just because before watching that game, I saw the Croatia Brazil game,
Right.
and we knew how that ended. But like so obviously I was nervous, but then when the game started and I was watching it play out, I was like, okay, no, Argentina in control. They're gonna see it out. And then it's just I feel like all of this is just happening because it has to be hard for Messi. It has to be So me and my friends have an ongoing joke right now. Messi's going to win this World Cup out of pure plot armor. Because he's literally like so many things are happening. Like Mateo Lahoz is like one of the most known referees in La Liga. So Messi knows him like countless times. And you see how Messi went for his neck after the game because of the decisions. Like I feel like everything is just leading up to Messi winning the World Cup. But anyway, that was besides the point. Argentina, they to be honest, I think the game should have just ended 2-0. There was no reason for the another goal from nothing on and then the last minute goal. Like who does that? 10 minutes added time.
But that's why they scored.
Argentina do that. They did that against England in '98.
10 minutes added time, and then when it went to extra time, Argentina completely dominated extra time. Netherlands didn't have a sniff of a chance. And then when it went to penalties, Messi led the line as a captain should, as the best player should. Scored its pen. And again, it couldn't be easy because Emi Martinez saves the first two, and then all of a sudden Enzo misses his penalty, bringing it down to the final pen for Toro to finally have some kind of redemption for the tournament. But I don't know. I wasn't too worried. Like Argentina didn't play bad. I think their heads are still held high. They had the refereeing was deplorable, but like I was content. Like
Fair.
I think Argentina is still strong.
Fair enough. You were gonna say something before did he?
Yeah, no. I wanted to just basically say, like, I think with Netherlands, it was so weird because it was the entire tournament being that Louis van Gaal football, and what actually brought them back into the game was Fellaini ball, right? Just lump it up to the big man, right? Get a head on it, just score. But I want to say as well, it was just fantastic footwork for the second goal. Like, I know it wasn't expected, but actually the touch, the swivel to still hold off the defender, and yeah, it was quite a good goal. Also, just want to say Emi Martinez top house, like shithousery, like just top of the line shithousery. The entire thing was fantastic.
Yeah.
Loved him.
What's it called? That handball from Messi. That's how is that not a yellow?
I'm not gonna lie. Argentina are winning this entire tournament, and that's because FIFA and the referees are clearly wanting it. Like at this point, like I'm giving up. You look at the like. I know we're gonna talk about it, right? We're gonna talk about it actually. And another thing, speaking about it, did you guys see the Messi interview after, where like Weghorst is sort of like waiting to speak to Messi, and Messi's like, "What are you looking at, dummy? Like, what you want? Go away."
Yeah.
Like it's really mental. But for any anime fans right now, because these guys have been telling me to watch it, right? But Blue Lock and that personality thing that they're doing, the ego thing, that was on full display. It was pure Blue Lock. It was fantastic.
It was. I think that's partially why we love football, why we love knockout style stuff, because the nerves
so
and everyone just gets heated. You saw I'm sure everyone's seen the picture, and I'm sure I'll tell them to put that as the clip for when we talk about this for our shorts. But you just see the Argentinian and Nicolas Otamendi celebrating at the pens when they won it, and just all yelling in their faces. That is just great.
Yeah.
It was
I didn't like it. I actually didn't like
Fair,
it.
fair. No, it really.
I like
it. Really...
I like it. I like it as a viewer, but as somebody who enjoys a lot of sports in general, like, it got to that point where it was just a bit too disrespectful, regardless of whatever has happened in the past between, like, Louis van Gaal and Argentina, right? Like, I don't know, it just got to that point where it was just that bit too disrespectful.
You know what it is though? People are coming for Argentina's neck, right? About this, but like Netherlands were egging them on.
Exactly.
Dumfries, and a lot of people don't know this because I don't even think it was shown on screen because I mean I didn't even know this. Dumfries got sent off because he kept trying to. Yeah, Dumfries got sent off during the penalty shootout. Every time Argentina
the second yellow
switch, he would always try to go up and taunt. Like he would walk up the pitch to taunt the Argentinian or do something. Yeah, he got a red card because the Dutch team during the penalty shootout kept fucking with them. So I think
was
that's
that not
part
because
of the
of
reaction of Argentina at the end also.
Yeah, but that was also down to how they.
They also, I mean, the Argentinian, I forget which player kicked the ball.
It was Montiel kicked the ball at the.
Oh, that was
that was a little, that was
like party that
bro,
guy.
because
they was scrapping, son. They was ready to scrap in that game.
They were already coming for Argentina, and then you just see him kicking. He's like, "Fuck out of here."
Nah, honestly, there has to be. You guys should definitely. I don't know if it's in the highlights or not. Maybe they left that stuff out. I didn't really go watch the highlights because I watched the game. I'm sure they have something on YouTube or somewhere else. You guys got to see that game because that reminds me. And I don't know if well, Danny and Aiden definitely won't know about this, but you might.
Oh, you're going to talk about Netherlands and Portugal, aren't you?
Yes.
With Deco and who was it? It was Deco.
I think it was the record yellow cards in a World Cup
and red cards and red cards as well.
Quality game.
What's the image? It's Deco and someone from Netherlands.
I forget.
But they play together, and they've just got they've both been sent off, right? And they can't understand why they've been sent off because they're mates, they're friends. They've been sent off, and they've just got their arms around each other, right? Like in the tunnel watching the game after being sent off. Like it's such a good image.
That was a quality game. Yeah, there was an insane amount of yellow and red cards, and that was the type of vibe this game was giving me very much. But to me, I love it from a neutral perspective. It's also like, be careful. I mean, like, from Aiden's perspective, it's like, guys, chill out. You might get sent off. But you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's also great entertainment.
Yeah, but like, and you could tell, like, how it affects the players because, like, Pizzella giving away that foul in the 100th minute for literally no reason. Like, he had no reason to push whoever he pushed. But he just does it. And you could just tell that's because your blood's hot. Your emotions are running.
However... I just want to add to this, right?
Yeah.
A standard of officiating or standard of refereeing. Obviously, it's been really poor throughout this entire tournament. I think we're all going to agree on this, and we'll speak about it, right?
10%.
However, did what happened in that game happen because of the referee not being able to control any of it? Like, if you had a better referee, a stronger referee, do you think that would have just stopped it?
Partially.
What are you talking about? Like the
amount of the back and forth, the actual pushing and shoving. The reason I say this, right? Is it's going back to when Leicester won the league, right? And it was the Tottenham Chelsea game, right? It was Clattenburg that was officiating it, and he specifically chose not to send people off because the game would implode, and he wanted that fire, and he wanted players to actually stop kicking the living shit out of each other, right? He specifically chose not to send players off because he knew that Tottenham would just combust. They would just fall apart, right? And that's why he refused to send anyone off in that game up until like the 80th, 90th minute or something. Right. So what I'm saying in this regard is, by not sending anyone off early, has he then allowed the game to go the way it has, right? Do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, I feel like, I just feel like there was a lot of shit talking as well between players and a lot of stuff going on the side. So I do think it would have controlled it partially, but do I still think that a World Cup aside, the tension from the match itself, World Cup, what's at stake aside, I just feel like they were all just ready to scrap on each other, period. And I
no,
think it's partial. I get what you're saying, and maybe a little bit they might have backed off a little bit, but I still think Messi would have given that attitude. I still think people would have been getting mad at each other. Like I still think that would have been an element of the game, but just maybe not
And they
as
could have been
evident.
sent off for that.
I
To-
was thinking that too. He should have gotten a yellow card when he bodied
Have gotten
who was
sent
it?
off. I've seen
Montiel.
that get
Right.
sent off.
Yeah.
Like people get sent off. For
Okay,
that
Like he
shit.
but then
literally-
like, if you are in a classroom and you've got a bunch of kids who are ready to fight, right?
Even.
And as the teacher, you don't really do anything about it, right? Is the fault the kids or is it yours for not really doing anything as a teacher? Because you have the power to stop it, right?
Give the kids a yellow card and give them
Right,
time
but
out.
you actually like you have to have that conversation at half time or whatever, just to say, look, this can't happen, otherwise people will start being sent off,
Right.
right?
Right.
And then actually following through on it,
Right.
I
because
get what you mean, but hold on, let me interject here. Sorry, but
Set the tone.
no, go for it.
I just feel like a lot of the tensions from the game came from the poor refereeing. So I feel like it's a bit like counter.
Catch 22.
Yeah, because it's like you at one point it's like yes, the players are like riled up, whatever. But I feel like a lot of the tensions like between the player are only happening because of the poor referee decisions in the first place.
No,
You
but that's what I'm
understand what I mean?
saying. Like, yeah, that the refereeing decisions were really, really bad. It was really bad, right? And this
No, but
is
I don't think
but-
no. But
but
what I'm
this
saying
is where I'm coming from. Like, it wasn't a good ref. He made it a lot about himself, right? Then on top of that, there was no control over the entire match, which then has culminated in the match getting more aggressive and more heated. Where actually, if he could have got a control of the entire situation earlier and actually had a conversation with the players and go, do you know what? That challenge, that's a red. You're off. See you later. Because, like, do you know, when was it? I think it was after he kicks the ball into the stands. I think it's Van Dijk comes running over
Yeah.
and literally barges him to the ground,
Yeah.
right? Like, realistically, that should be a red. Like, any other game that we ever watch, in the Premier League, in La Liga, any other game, that's a red.
Maybe not a red,
You
but
come
it's
over
definitely
and,
hard.
I'd
but
say
like-
it's a yellow, not a red.
you know, we would normally say that, right? But I think now we're seeing a lot of officiating where it's getting stricter, where they are starting to send people off for that because it's a bad image on football, right? Like we're seeing it a lot in the Premier League where this happens and actually they have a no tolerance for it.
I know in
There's
the
just
NBA,
no
when,
tolerance.
when people get in the face of the ref, it's automatic.
It's
Like,
tech.
get out.
Yeah, it's like see you later. And this is what I mean. Like I don't know if there was enough control over that game, and that's why it's escalated the way it has.
Yeah.
I know there was pretensions, but
Well,
those tensions could have boiled over after the whistle went, as opposed to during the game.
we'll definitely continue talking about the officiating once we get through the rest of these games, just because I do want to make sure we get through the games.
Referees are fucking shit.
But we will speak about that a bit. But Croatia, Japan,
Croatia.
Croatia, our boys tried. Our boys tried, man. The penalties were once again Japan were just great. They were very good. Croatia definitely looked better in that game compared to how they did in previous games, but those pens, those were terrible pens from Japan. And then Croatia,
Under pressure.
yeah, and then Croatia's keeper has been insane saving pens twice now.
One word is cold-blooded. Like teams like Croatia, is just like when it's a penalty shootout, it's very hard for them to fall under that pressure. Like they're
Because they've been
really
through it.
They
They've been through it.
have the experience, especially
Yeah.
this group of players. They
Yeah,
have
they
the
just-
experience. Sorry to cut you off, Danny.
Yeah, no. Croatia played the like Japan. What is that saying? Like Japan played the moment, not the situation. Like you know what I'm talking about? That whole thing. Like Croatia knew what they had to do going into there, and Japan was like in the moment.
And that's what we're seeing with Croatia. And I think mentioned this last podcast, or maybe it was the one before. But we're seeing that experience. No, it was when they got out the group stage. Yeah, so it must have been last episode. We're seeing Croatia's experience, which they're not playing the best football, but we're seeing
What
their
they need to
experience coming into play, which is huge. But unfortunately, Japan couldn't break that curse of getting through the round of 16. They do look good, so hopefully, it'll be a bright future for them. I'd love to see Japanese football become bigger and Japanese players become bigger. They put in a very entertaining tournament, though. They played well, so big up them. And then you have Brazil. Yeah, RIP Blue Lock.
Oh, no. I mean, like I said this, didn't I? I was like, at least there's going to be a season 2. Because if they won the World Cup, that's it. It's a one and done, mate. They're cancelling that halfway through.
Yeah. Then we saw Brazil absolutely just demolish South Korea. I do think
Chances for all of them.
I do think South Korea, from that group of Ghana, Uruguay, Portugal, I can't really say this because they got out the group, but just from watching them play compared to like Ghana or Uruguay, I say even more so Ghana, they're very lucky to have gotten second place and gotten out that group. I feel like Brazil, Ghana would have been an insane game.
Brazil, Uruguay would have been a closer game. I think even Brazil, Uruguay would have been closer just because the South American.
I think Brazil, Ghana would have went crazy.
Those would have been great, but yeah.
I have a weird thing on this, right?
It was Neymar's first game back.
Yes, and he had a
goal and assist.
Yeah.
I think South Korea put too much energy into celebrating after they qualified.
Right.
All their emotional energy, that whole thing of wanting to qualify, they got to play Brazil. They were like, we've done our job. That's it.
Right.
There wasn't that same fight to qualify, or as in that final game against Portugal to qualify as there was against Brazil. It was like all their energy got used.
Yep. So yeah, we just saw a very good Brazil side that a lot of people thought were going to get far in this tournament, but then lo and behold, the next quarterfinal, the winners from those two games, Croatia and Brazil, we get what people would say is a shock. Is a shock upset. But as Alm was saying earlier, is it really a shock? We've seen this Croatia team go far in the last 2 tournaments, the Euros and the World Cup. You know what I'm saying? And even though they haven't looked special, they're doing like we said, they're doing what they got to do.
Yeah.
The 3 in midfield are ballers.
Oh, they're running.
Their midfield. Oh, they are so good. It really is. Even Modric at the age of 37.
He
right?
is
37.
37.
Like, he does not look it. Maybe 30, but they've been outstanding. Also, do you know what blew my mind? Lovren is still a player.
Yeah, I thought he retired.
Yeah. Again, another really old player who used to play like back in
He's only
2000.
33. I thought he was like 35, 36. I'm not going to lie.
No, but okay, wait.
I thought he was older.
Wait. I think our issue is, right, that we're used to now seeing Pepe, Ronaldo, and Messi play at these old ages, and we're getting used to people playing older. 33 for a footballer is old.
Yes, it
Most
is.
International footballers retire at 31. Right?
Yeah.
So we need to also remember that we're only seeing these players carry on because they're very, very good, where Dejan Lovren is very, very average.
Yeah.
Right? He has never been good.
I guess for Croatia, you'll just be
Yeah, that's it.
enough.
He's basically their Pepe.
Currently plays out of Zenit St. Petersburg. That's all I'm saying about
FIFA, that's why I forgot about it.
That's all I'm saying about that. What's it called? But yeah, so we saw going to extra time. We all think Neymar's won it. 105th minute, he scores. We all think he won it.
That was a great goal.
It was a fantastic goal. And again, Brazil had 21 shots in total, 4 big chances. Croatia only had the 9. Expected goals from Brazil was 2.55. But
if I'm not mistaken, Croatia's goal was their only shot on target, and it came in the 117th minute.
Yep, and it was, and someone go
All
check
sorts
out,
of deflection.
go check on Marquinhos, bro. Somebody go check on Marquinhos and his mental after the deflection, his half-ass attempt at blocking the shot first off, which then deflects and leads to the goal, and then that penalty miss. So someone check on that man. Obviously, he's a top player. He's built for stuff like this, plays at PSG, but regardless, go check on that man because no one really thought it was going to go that way. Why Rodrigo took the first pen, by the way, beats
This
me.
is
Odd one.
this is what I wanted to talk about because it's like that when I was talking about Messi and Argentina and how he took the first pen, we've seen it time and time again where the star player of the team wants to go fifth, and then you see them not even get to take a pen, like Ronaldo and which I don't know. You
2016.
tell me.
No.
No, it was.
It was one. There was an early like
2014.
2014 or 2018 was one of those two.
yeah. He wanted to take the penalty and then didn't go early and then couldn't even take the pen. It's like
Yeah.
you lead the team, you get the goals in first. You don't know if the opponents are gonna score all their goals or not. Like you get the goals in early to win it as early as possible. So it baffles me that that's still a thing because Neymar puts that pen away and Brazil have a lot less pressure on them to score their following penalties.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
as a captain, I mean, he's not the captain, but as their star player, lead the line, be like, take control of the game.
Right.
The penalties, like I don't know, it's just upsetting to see. I mean, they paid the price, so
I'm wondering whether it's because he had a bit of an injury.
I
Like,
doubt.
Some people are saying it's because he feels like he's a curse to Brazil. That's what I'm
maybe. So the way that I see it, right, like he is a very, very good penalty taker, but at the same time, like a Neymar with one leg is still a very good penalty taker, right? But if you're injured, you've already got that doubt in your mind. Like he's just come back from the ankle knock. This is his second game. Like I don't know if he's taken a couple more or if he's got
Well,
another
120
injury like a
minutes.
like yeah, you know what I mean. After 120 minutes, I kind of understand him going fifth because he's probably feeling like I'm not 100%. I don't want to go first or second and miss.
Right.
So there's always that as well. We're never going to hear whether it was an injury or not, but it's somewhere I don't know why, but I just have this feeling.
Right.
That's why.
To Livakovic, the Dinamo Zagreb Croatian goalkeeper. I'm sure eyes are going to be on him on whether or not he wants to leave. Whether or not he wants to leave, I don't know.
Can I just say,
I guess some of the saves are easy, but
I don't want him to leave. I sign him on Football Manager every single year, right, for Leicester. Like, every year. My guy is a baller on that game.
I'm about to start playing that soon, but that's a conversation for another time. Now that I'm done with school. But, yeah, so, again, big up Croatia, though. It's sad to see Brazil out because I know a lot of people thought that they were going to win. Probably Neymar's, I want to say, maybe his last World Cup. I don't know if he's still going to be playing at that top level, especially with his injuries and stuff like that in 4 years.
I think he has one more in him.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. I don't know.
I do just want to say that Croatia's record in this World Cup is 1 win and 4 draws, technically, like from full time.
So they're pulling a Portugal from the Euros. Got it.
They're pulling a Euro 2016 Portugal.
Oh, just very quickly. Did we mention Morocco? Or have we not quite got to him yet?
I'm getting to that. I'm trying to...
Okay, yeah, fine.
I'm going to get through it a little more. So, yeah, good job, Croatia. We're going to see an Argentina-Croatia semifinal, which we'll talk about a little bit more. I want to get through the rest of the games.
Brazil-Croatia.
I said congratulations to Argentina and Croatia. We're going to see a Argentina-Croatia semifinal. I'm pretty sure that's what I said.
Brazil.
That's what I said?
Oh, wait. Oh, my fault. Brazil got eliminated.
Yes, exactly. Anyway,
right, very good.
Thank you very much. Now, on the other side of the table, before we get into the semis, we saw France, pretty routine win, beating Poland. Poland never looked convincing throughout the tournament anyway, for the most part. It was another one of those teams that... It was that group with Saudi Arabia and Mexico. They kind of just, slid their way through, just snuck in. We saw Mbappe score 2 goals when me and Aiden were briefly like, okay, maybe he's on fraud watch, not off fraud watch, because me and Aiden... We just think that all he has is this pace, and he plays for PSG at a top team. We want to see him somewhere else and see what he can do. It's not that he's bad, obviously. We don't think he's bad. Well, yeah, but there's just a lot.
Him?
Yeah. Is he
him?
Like, I'm definitely, like, if you ask me, and we said this, Team Holland and Team Mbappe, I'm Team Holland every day of the week.
Is he another Neymar?
I need to see. I can't say that because I need to see him at another club.
Neymar,
because Neymar he played well at Barca. Yes, he was surrounded around people, but he played well there though. Like
he had the one good season in 2018, I think it was.
20,
right?
2015, the treble winning
what's the
season.
comparison?
It was more than
2015.
one. It was more than one season. He had like 2 back-to-back seasons
No.
of 50 goal contributions.
My big issue with Mbappe, again, I said this to you guys in the chat earlier, right? Like, I just feel like it's because he plays in a farmers league.
Yeah.
He's used to being able to run through players, and when he gets to the international stage, it's a lot different.
But we saw his
However,
pace.
it
We
takes,
saw
like,
his
10
pace
chances.
today, though.
Yeah.
But there's just one little thing which didn't he like basically like drag France to winning the last World Cup because he scored, right, and he got like an assist
Yeah,
in the
I
final.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like he did really well in that final. So
Which is why like we don't think he's a bad player. We just think
He's good.
He's
He's good.
No, for
he's
sure.
very good.
No.
He's very good. Good is playing for Leicester City, right? Very good is
Yeah.
playing for PSG.
But we just don't think that he's the guy. Like
The
that's-
GOAT.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
just
It just hasn't been
he's-
proven yet.
He's definitely gonna be
So-
one of the guys for this generation of players. But I just don't see him as the face. Like he's not the Messi, he's not the Ronaldo, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
was talking to my friends earlier because I have a friend that really loves Mbappe and like goes for him. And I always tell him like he fails my eye test for me. Like he never does enough in certain games to get me like gas to go, oh nah, he's fucking sick. But my friend sent the picture of him when we get to the England game, like of him laughing after Kane missed his penalty. And he was like, oh, he loves him. I was like, I don't know, he just always misses something. One of my friends said, yeah, in games like these, he can go missing sometimes. He just doesn't get the space he needs to thrive. And yet, because England tried to close him down, but literally every great player gets closed down and you still have to come out of it.
yeah.
Messi gets entire game plans to stop him and he will still score. And that like just puts it
No,
perfectly
literally.
for me. Like Mbappe's just a pace merchant.
And,
like,
and
you know?
even, I mean, not right now,
If he's-
but prime Real Madrid Ronaldo, nobody was stopping him either. As far as him playing once he went down the middle, his jumping reach,
Yeah.
etc. Like defenders would try to mark him, but no one's jumping higher than him. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. Like where Mbappe gets stopped. Benfica pocket. Benfica had him in
The f-
pocket. So
he's the French Theo Walcott.
Exactly.
Theo
The
Walcott.
Franch Theo Walcott.
That's funny.
Lewandowski-
That's funny.
Lewandowski for winning the World Cup.
Oh, by the way, just because we're on the topic, he got a 6.0 rating today.
Nasty.
So
6.0. Yeah.
Mid.
But anyway, so we saw England get through Senegal a lot easier than I thought most people thought it was going to be.
No, I called that.
So,
I called
I
that.
said Senegal was going to win. So.
Called it. I think what was putting off a lot of people in terms of the Senegal result was the USA game, right? And I was saying that England played for a draw. And that's what was it was really sad, really disappointing, really boring, but they played for that draw because they qualified them, right? And then against Senegal, they just managed to attack and they managed to play well. I know we were saying in the last podcast that was the game that we weren't 100% sure about.
Right.
And it showed because in the first 35 minutes, Senegal looked like they could have scored 2. Right? Senegal were really, really good. It's just that England scored 1 and then Senegal just completely collapsed.
And by the way, guys, it's funny. I'm saying this in the middle of the podcast. We're definitely going over an hour. Just like you know. And then, yeah, so we had France pass, England pass. And then today we had, which is probably like, what, it was like 2 hours ago. We had France beat England. Oh, man. I mean, me and Aiden were watching. I was playing FIFA at the same time. I had to stop playing. Danny was there too also. What's it called? Great finish from Chouameni, by the way. Let's just say that.
that was
He
disgusting.
he
was
looks
a
like a
banger.
proper player. He looks like a proper player.
Yeah.
I don't really watch Real Madrid that much. But obviously I know of him. I know he got the move there. I know of his quality. And he's not starting for France for no reason. You know what I mean? Good finish. But, oh man, what? I just feel like this was just so...
First issue, Harry Kane, foul
Not
outside
even
the
before-
box.
But, I mean, yeah.
Foul outside
Well,
the box.
first off, this whole thing was just referee issue. Honestly, let talk about it because he's the England guy. He's the
Pop
English
off,
guy. So let us hear it. Let us hear it.
Get that shit off your
okay.
chest, boy.
Wait. I don't know whether to start on the referee or I don't know whether to start on the game itself.
Go with
but-
the. Let's save the ref. Let's go.
Okay,
Let's
save
go with
the
the
ref.
game. Let's go with the game.
So I'm going to ignore the first decision then, the one that Danny just mentioned.
You
for
can
now.
bring it up because it's part of the game, but don't go too crazy with the ref. We're going to talk about the ref as a whole.
Yeah. So okay. Tchouaméni scores a really, really good goal. It goes through the legs of, I'm going to say, it's Bellingham. It goes through the legs of Bellingham,
I knew
goes
it was
into the far corner. The goalkeeper basically just sees it a little bit late, and it goes into the far right-hand side of the goalkeeper, so our left.
Yeah.
Really good goal. Taking it in, England had a couple of shouts for penalties, couple of shouts for fouls, didn't necessarily get them, was quite riled up because of it. England then get a penalty back. Really well dispatched, actually. That first penalty, really, really well done.
Yeah.
And then...
Against his clubmate as well.
Yeah.
Yes, against Hugo Lloris, who he plays for.
Plays with.
Fucking Spursy players.
Hugo
And then we get to... wait, it's in the other group chat. And I can't believe I actually did this, though, man. Like, I was so angry at myself, right? Because I literally went, wow, Giroud fucking scares me, man, at 2036.
Yep.
Right? Here, in the UK. 2037, Giroud scores.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I said he scares me, and a minute later, he just went and absolute bagged.
The crazy save.
Yes. The crazy save was the wow. Giroud scares me, and then literally scored a minute later. England, basically, the ball got cleared. They couldn't clear the lines properly. France regrouped really well and get it back in a really nice way. Leading into the 88th minute, England get a penalty. 84th, sorry. England get a penalty, which went to VAR. I'm not going to mention why it went to VAR, but it went to VAR. And Harry Kane absolutely skies it after his first penalty was quite good. He just went for... They always say, right, if you're not 100% confident, just hit it with power. Right? A lot of professional footballers will say that. Right?
See, me and Aiden, when he took the first pen, we're like, wow, he looks nervous. But he slotted it. And then it's funny because you said to power it, but me and Aiden actually said, if you're nervous, I feel like you should just try and place it and hope. I agree. The keeper goes the other way.
No, I completely agree. I think get it on target is the most important thing.
Okay.
Because you still have a 50-50 chance of scoring, right? Like, keeper, well, it's 2 and 3 because the keeper either goes down the middle or goes to one of the corners.
3.333%.
Yeah, like, just get it on target. That's all you realistically need to do.
Right.
So this really did annoy me, but a lot of professional footballers will always say, like, because you see these footballers that try Panenkas and they miss it and they go, why don't you just put your foot through it, which is what Harry Kane did. It went over the bar.
Right.
You know what? It is what it is. It's probably his best chance to win a trophy, in my opinion, because he's getting to that age now. It sounds really bad to say, right? Because I say it as a laugh because I follow Arsenal, but it's just Tottenham Hotspur. Just in and out, man.
It's
just
the gene. It's the
gene. It's like a virus. It's like an infection that just doesn't leave. It got into the England camp and it's just there. So for you guys that don't know, Tottenham Hotspur are a team that spend massive amounts of money, right? And have not won a trophy in, I can't tell you how many years. We're talking about, like, it's a really long time. I think the last trophy they won was in 2008, and it was like the third best cup in England, which was the League Cup, right? So Spurs, Harry Kane plays for Spurs. It's just that they have this thing of bottling big tournaments and big matches. And you just kind of saw that come through. Really weirdly, you kind of saw it with Son for South Korea as well, right? But... yeah, England are losing 2-1.
Before we move on from that, I just want to say you can take a player out of Spurs, but you can't take the Spurs out of a player.
Absolutely, man. I don't know. See, this is the thing, right? Because obviously, I support Portugal as well, and I don't know what bugs me more, right?
Yeah.
Whether the two teams that I really like went out today,
right,
or whether the refereeing performances were so bad.
all games, by the way. This whole tournament has been a shit show when it comes to calls, I feel like. And not just the refs, even some of the technology that they've implemented, forgetting to add players into the technology, not stopping play when people have head injuries. Like, there's a lot of things. Or stopping play when someone's grabbing their leg when you're supposed to play on. You know what I'm saying? Like, certain things like that. Like, there's been a lot of weird decisions. I think it was Aiden actually said earlier that, or was it Aiden or Danny? I can't remember. You guys tell me. But one of you guys said that you should be able to sub a ref.
Me. Bro, no, because think about it, right? You have a body of refs overlooking the game, right? This game, this England-France game happening today. You think they watch that and say this man has to stay on the field? They're taking him out. They're taking him out. They're like, all right, buddy, you did good. You didn't. Get off. But like you can't.
I mean, it's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout. Like if you really think about it now, especially since they have the VAR team there. You know what I'm saying? They have all these officials there. If it comes to like a consult like of all the refs, all the other people are like, yo, we don't know, like we should probably switch really quick. I don't know, something like that. I don't know. But then people might be like get more even more wary about like match fixing.
That was
you know
my thought.
So I don't think that's ever gonna happen. But I understand what you're trying to say for sure, and it's a funny concept.
Because
where was the referee from, by the way, for the England? Does anyone actually know? Because
I'll tell you right now.
Wasn't he Brazilian?
Yeah, Brazilian.
It was South
Brazilian.
Yeah.
Brazilian. Yes.
And he referees out in Cornwall.
Yeah. Which is like.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, and Danny didn't really understand me when I said this, and I don't mean any disrespect to anyone playing out there, but I feel like the standard of officiating when you're compared to when you're officiating Champions League games, compared to now you're in the quarterfinals between not just some random teams. It's England and France. You know what I'm saying? You need, I feel like, a top ref who has been through these situations.
I had the same thought, and I also went, why don't they just use another European ref from a different place in Europe?
Yeah.
Right? That was my first thought. Because it's two teams from Europe anyway, so you can have like a German ref or you can have a Spanish ref.
Yeah.
And then I went, you can have a Spanish ref. And then I thought about the Spanish ref from yesterday. And then I went, do you know what? Fuck referees. You're all fucking shit. You all deserve the sack. You all need to go back to school because you're all useless. You're all pathetic. I don't know how you get paid the money that you do, but it's a fucking shambles. Sorry, that's my rant.
All good. Then we had Morocco beating Spain. Insane.
No way. No, carry on.
No, it's fine.
You can talk about the Morocco-Spain. Talk about Morocco-Spain. It's fine. It's fine.
No one expected that either. I mean, we've seen Morocco do great in the group stage. So it was like I
think I said Morocco's gonna win.
So we like what am I surprised that they got in the round of 16 and that they got a result against Spain? Isn't it upset? Yes, but am I surprised from watching them play? No, they're playing amazing. Does that like?
Yeah, like I said, they're yet to concede a goal.
Yeah,
they're in the semi-finals and they haven't conceded.
Yeah, so
like
that's pretty insane. So given they only had 23% possession against Spain, they played well though. They brought it to pens, and their keeper, who I know is great for Sevilla, Bilbao, Sevilla, one of those two teams. I don't know La Liga. Yeah, Sevilla.
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 He just was insane for them for the pens as well. He's been crazy, period, I should say. Then we had Portugal's demolition of Switzerland. First game without Ronaldo. We saw Gonçalo Ramos, the Benfica guy, go in there. Who he's been in form for Benfica, and I always thought he was a good player, but he's been proving me wrong a lot more as time is going, as being a number 9 as a striker. Yeah, proving me wrong in a good way. What's it called? So he does have 9 goals in 11 matches in the Portuguese league, and then however many goals he has in the Champions League this season. So he's doing well. And and I'm gonna get to this when I'm gonna talk about something else a little more when we get to the Morocco Portugal game. But we just saw a really good Portugal side. Switzerland never really looked like they were gonna get too into it. The connection between Bruno Fernandes, Gonçalo Ramos, and João Felix was just insane. I honestly think, you know what I think hindered us a little bit today, and maybe, I don't know, but we played a 4-3-3 today, whereas at the game against Switzerland, we played a 4-3-1-2, where Felix and Ramos were a little more central, where today Felix was out wide and wasn't seeing much more of the ball like how he usually was. But overall, it was a great game. We really thought that we were going to take this momentum and completely batter.
You know what it was? Rafael
Morocco.
Guerreiro was able to
But-
go on the left wing. He got the goal and an assist against Switzerland. Rafael Guerreiro was able to attack. He could not attack this game against Morocco because Hakimi was there on the wing, and
Yeah.
just Moroccans down the wing were a threat to us.
On the counter.
That was
especially.
only on the counter. So Rafael Guerreiro had to stay back, which meant João Felix had to go out wide because it looked like the only way we were able to break them is if we got crosses into the box, which we were able to do. If you looked at the game, the amount of crosses from our defense out wide to the wings to then cross it in, there were so many, but the crosses were just
Yeah, we could transition
trash.
into Morocco, Portugal, because we can't. There's nothing much else to really say about the Portugal Switzerland game. We completely battered them. To be honest, the system worked without Ronaldo. it
Ronaldo
worked.
didn't play.
He didn't play, which was a huge headline, but obviously everyone knows that at this point.
And Switzerland were just really,
Sorry
really
for
bad.
saying-
And Switzerland were just bad, yeah, and which was a bit surprising because I feel like they weren't terrible this tournament.
I think they expected Portugal to play a very different way than they actually
sure.
did. So like they had the
That's
same,
not
pretty
bad,
much
for
the
sure.
same lineup as the Switzerland game today, and today was like the youngest Portuguese lineup ever in a World Cup game. Like that's pretty mental when you think Pepe is like turning 40 in 2 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We just saw today. We saw Portugal, like for what Portugal is the last 4 years, 6 years with Fernando Santos as the head coach. I would say we've seen a team that I feel like that we didn't see against Switzerland, which the link-up play was just fantastic. We saw passes through the middle, passes out wide, switch of play at perfect times. There was no hesitation in what they were doing. Compared to today, don't get me wrong, Morocco were compact and they were a defensive beast. Like, let me just say that, especially after going 1-0 up. So I'm not taking anything away from Morocco. But if we're going based off of the caliber of these nations, Portugal should be beating Morocco. You know what I'm saying? Should, quote unquote. And again, Danny mentioned it. They were trying to start whipping in crosses to cause a mess in the box. Even the quality of the crosses were just absolutely terrible. I feel like besides maybe one or two, that Pepe chance at the end, Pepe really should at least be getting that on target. We saw
No, Amrabat gets a touch on that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Amrabat got a touch on it
I
before.
was so out of it.
Yeah.
Bro. I still have the freaking jersey on. I was still.
Yeah.
I was like, when Danny knows this about me, when I get like really like nervous and into the games, I stand up. I can't sit down, and I walk back and forth in front of the TV.
I'm
like jumping. Yeah. So I'm like, that was me today. What's it called? But we didn't. Yeah, man. I don't know. But again, I don't even want to blame Portugal too much because it's also like Morocco were just so solid defensively. And I was saying this to Danny earlier. I feel like we did well against a team like Switzerland because Switzerland were ready to attack and we were able to get them out of position, link up to play in so many different ways, etc. Whereas we struggle with teams that are playing so defensive and so compact and so structured that we could not do our usual counterattack, our usual link-up play, and our ideas just run out, I feel like.
No, this problem isn't just a Portugal problem, though, right? Because it's been a Spain problem, it's been a Germany problem, it's been a problem for quite a few teams. Like breaking down these sort of defenses, it's not been easy for anyone in this tournament so far.
I think like a Messi because that's what we need. Players like a Messi. I feel like they could break that down.
This sounds mental, but it's not that you need a player to break him down. You need less of the ball. And I know that sounds crazy.
No, you
But
do because
you
because
saw
it gets them out of position.
you saw Spain with like 70% possession, couldn't break them down, and then Portugal went and did the exact same thing. But the issue that I found, right, is so whenever the ball got into the final third on the wings, you always saw Morocco doubling up on the player, like 100%, just doubling up all the time. And the issue was that Portugal never doubled up in the attack. They never had that overlapping run. They never had that inside run. They just tried to go one on two every single time, and you ended up like just playing this horseshoe where it goes from like this side of the, so if I'm going to use my camera as like a pitch here, right? So it goes from this side of the pitch, because they're getting doubled up on here, the ball kind of goes back, it goes to a defender, it goes across the defender, it goes to like here, right? It then that player gets doubled up on again, and the ball just does this, and it's just swinging, and you're like, just double up. What are you doing? Do what you did against Switzerland.
I didn't want to keep screaming this at the TV because, like, I know my dad was there and Danny was there. And I know I can be a bit overbearing, especially when it comes to games sometimes. But there was just no fucking movement, bro. And it was pissing me off. There was no movement. Okay, cool. You see that they're compact. You see that. Run! Make chances. Get open. Ask for the ball. How many times did I see people standing and just waiting for the ball to come to them? Go to the ball because you know Morocco's going to pressure you. So you can't wait for the pass. You have to go to the pass. That's one. And there's just not enough runs. And I think Fernand Sanz should have brought Rafael Leao on earlier than he did. Because if you saw Rafael Leao, he was so direct that it was causing issues for Morocco. Morocco are fine sitting back and let the playmakers try and do their little pingy passes and try to make something. Rafael Leao running at you and either crossing it or shooting it. And that caused a lot of the issues in the second half for Morocco came from that side. Even though Rafael Leao didn't see a lot of the ball. And
however,
it's just
there was still excuse me. There was still one moment where Ronaldo could have scored.
Yes.
Spoke out about time, man.
You're good. You're good.
So, ball's here. Basically, gets played across. It's for Ramos, right? Ball ends up in the keeper's hands, and Ramos is like, "What are you doing? I've literally made a run for you, and Ronaldo's free. If the ball goes back, you're basically 1-1."
Yeah. And even, but then there's even that one-on-one chance. Who I forget who it was, sent Ronaldo through on goal. Ronaldo beats the defender, and obviously I know it's hard because the ball's bouncing a little bit and the keeper's right in front of you and Bono gets big. You know what I'm saying? But still, those are the moments that make or break a game. You know what I'm saying? That's one of those moments. Like for example, the João Felix shot which was an insane shot with his weak foot that Bono had an amazing save. I don't blame Felix for that because there's only so much more that he could have done there. You know what I'm saying? He got the ball on target. It was an amazing shot. It was a great save. Whereas Ronaldo, you know, he wanted to prove himself, and I feel like out of all the things that he scored ever, that is one of the... I'm not too mad at him either, but that's something that if he wants to be starting for Portugal and all this ego shit that's been going around with Ronaldo and all this stuff that's been going on, he should be scoring that. And it should be 1-1 from there as well. But, again, this was a Portugal problem today. It wasn't a Ronaldo problem because we saw us struggling even before that. Bruno Costa, I believe is the keeper's name. Huge mistake. He shouldn't... him coming out like that to me was... I just don't understand how you misread the ball, and El Nassiri got up to get to that ball. So, big up on him not taking anything away from Morocco. Not saying that Bruno's mistake was the reason they scored, because Morocco could... At that point... They had a couple chances. They could have easily scored. But
no, it was Bruno's mistake.
But that was a huge mistake from Bruno. It was just like, bro, like the ball's over here and you're jumping all the way over here, just hoping it's going to come to you. You should be jumping into the ball trying to catch it at that point. If you're going to come out that far, you have to commit to yourself to the ball. It is his first major tournament, but you're starting for Porto in the Champions League. So I at the same time, I don't want to hear a lot of that. So
I don't think he should have played, to be honest. I don't know. I'm
But
looking
you
at
can't because Jose Sa is almost bottom of the league with Wolves, and the Rui Patricio
Patricio is
he's
consistent
but he's
for
in
Portugal.
terrible form for Roma,
For,
Danny. That's why I
for
keep trying to
Portugal,
tell
he's
you that.
consistent.
Yeah, but you
Yes,
say
but
that, but he
Harry
hasn't really
Maguire's
played.
Harry Maguire's in terrible form for Man United, and he was great for England. It's one of those situations. I feel like one thing
Yeah,
Pickford's
I
in
do want to
Pickford's in really bad form for Everton, and he still gets picked.
I
and
don't know.
he's great. One thing I want to say is like I feel like Ruben Neves shouldn't have been our deep lying midfielder. Um, I don't like him in that position at all. And also and then Bernardo Silva, like
That's
he's
what
playing
he.
midfield.
Wait,
We
that's
no,
the
I'm
type of position Ruben Neves plays, though. He
I don't
plays.
like him. I don't like him playing there.
He plays
Wait,
as
wait,
a.
wait, 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 wait,
He
wait.
plays
Do
as
you
a deep
mean
lying playmaker, though.
wait? Do you mean you don't like him playing as a part of a single pivot instead of a double pivot?
I don't like him playing there. I want Bernardo Silva in Otavio. Well,
I
not
think
so
that
much
is what he
Otavio.
means. I think he likes him more. I
Yeah.
think he would like him more as a double pivot rather than a
So
single.
so you prefer him in a 4-2-3-1 as opposed to a 4-3-3, right?
Yeah, I'd
like
rather,
you don't
yes.
like him
Yeah.
as the
Yes,
lone.
Yeah, I agree with you
Because I
completely. Then
want Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva's so creative and he has to stay back. It's like and the way we it was 6-1 against Switzerland, and the way we score those goals and prior goals is like intricate quick passes. Intricate quick passes into open, and we couldn't do that against them, and we didn't have creativity going up. It was just crosses that didn't work, and a lot of the goals that we did score were intricate quick passes, and we don't have that if Bernardo Silva's not up there joining the attack and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know.
In a
I don't like
4-3.
Ruben Neves being the sole CDM there because that's just not
Yeah,
his
we
role.
see with England with Rice and Bellingham. You know what I'm saying? Rice plays amazingly as that second DM, and Bellingham kind of has that freedom of being that box to box midfielder. But do we really have a box to box midfielder at this club with Renato at this World Cup with Renato Sanchez gone? If we really think about it, you know what I'm saying?
yes,
Who?
Vitinha
Yes.
possibly.
Vitinha-
Ruben Neves can.
Vitinha.
Ruben
Vitinha
Neves
came-
can play it. Ruben Neves can play it because he does it for Wolves. He
Okay,
can do it.
Fair. Okay, yeah,
Right.
yeah. But what I'm saying is,
And
to use him-
Danilo Pereira, he can do it, and Vitinha and Paulinho as well.
But Danilo Pereira is much more of a just a
Yeah,
CDM.
yeah, yeah.
He's not. What I'm saying is a quality box to box midfielder. Whereas
I don't think we need that. I think we need that CDM that stays there, like the Dino player William Carvalho. So then people like Bernardo
You need the
Silva
double pivot.
join the attack.
Yeah, you need the double pivot.
well, it's either you need.
That's what
well,
you guys really need.
Neves needs the double pivot. He needs to play in the double pivot system. But if
The-
we had William Carvalho or Danilo Pereira playing that sole CDM role where it allows Bernardo Silva and Otavio to kind of move forward a little bit, then that also works.
I don't even think we need to play Otavio at that point if we have that CDM.
Yeah, I'm annoyed with
At
that.
that
do you know what?
point, then we put on somebody else.
Have Portugal got the same issue that England used to have with Gerrard and Lampard?
No.
Because
I
you've got Felix, you've got Silva, you've then got Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno's playing on the right, where I think he's better centrally too.
This is what I'm kind of saying, right? The issue is that you're trying to you make a jigsaw puzzle, right? And it doesn't seem like you're using the right pieces of this jigsaw puzzle in the right place. You're kind of just putting them where they should be, or where you think they should be, and then just hammering them in because they're so good. As opposed to going where against Switzerland, everybody played in their pretty much in their right place.
Yes.
Imagine the midfield as Bruno
Right?
Fernandes, who can defend somewhat. Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, and then William Carvalho Danilo Plata having that CDM role. And then at the strike force, you have Felix Gonçalo Ramos and Leão. That just seems so much better. Being able to do that. I
don't know. We definitely whatever it is.
That's what we did against Switzerland. I'm looking at it now. We had William Carvalho at CDM. Bruno Fernandes played Cam. And Felix and Gonçalo Ramos were in front of
And
them.
I was saying
we had
earlier, Felix should not have
Otavio and
played
Silva
well.
playing on the others on.
And
Otavio and
bro,
Silva.
and Otavio, and that's another thing that was pissing me off. And I might be wrong in saying this. I'm gonna pay it. Let
We
me
gotta
see
speed
where
it up
he's.
too. So
I'm gonna. Yeah. We've been on this for a minute, but I don't even think Otavio freaking plays CM for Porto like that, bro. He plays on the wing. He plays on the
Plays out
He
freaking
wide.
does.
wing for
Yeah, he
Porto.
does.
You know what I'm saying? So
Plays out
we're
wide.
taking, and again, this all goes back to Fernand Sanch and his team selection. So yeah, we were all so hype about the Switzerland, but we've been complaining about Fernand Sanch team selections for years and how he plays football. When we have people like João Mario, João Palhinha, Mateus Nunes, William Carvalho, even though and William Carvalho had to
Mario,
prove me wrong this tournament. I've liked him on the pitch. So it's like, but you're playing Otavio, which I understand he's a bit more agile and smaller, but we don't need another player
we
like
have
that
enough
on
of
the
that.
pitch when we have those other players that are so similar on the pitch. We need something different. And if we had Paulinho on the pitch, Neves could have done more going forward. Because
With
Paulinho would have been breaking it.
That's literally what
Would
I'm saying.
so
Literally what I, yeah.
okay,
Um,
but just one last thing, real quick.
yeah, 'cause
With
we have to go.
With Mourinho currently in the job, who then takes over Santos's position?
There's been I've only seen one
Bent?
news. I've seen one. No, I don't. We don't need Paul Bent back.
Yeah.
We don't. Need,
No,
we
you
don't.
don't.
We don't need Paul Bent back. What I think. No, sorry. What I've seen, which again, it's just rumors, so it's probably not gonna happen. But I would love. We've been potentially linked to Ruben Amorim, Sporting's manager,
solid.
which I love the
I think
way
he can bring
he sets Sporting up. I love
that live
confidence
live
he
football.
gives. Yeah, I love the confidence he gives those players. And honestly, we haven't seen Portugal with a young manager in so long. And I think it would have just.
Traditional ass managers, bro. I'm tired of it.
I think it would be good because because the Portuguese national team, because I know some national teams are different. The Portuguese national team pretty much always sticks with the Portuguese manager. I don't know who else is going into that spot.
But this is my issue because I genuinely feel, and I know Aiden won't agree with this, right? But I genuinely feel like if Portugal had Jose Mourinho as manager, you win the World Cup.
No, I agree.
Like-
No. You know what?
Like-
No. I agree.
I could.
I see where you're coming from because of the type of football that Mourinho plays. So
It's
could see
tournament
that.
football. He plays tournament football. Like
No, I agree.
he treats every single game like a tournament. And he's a natural winner.
Yeah.
You see where I'm coming from?
That's why our question we brought up the thing of is there upsets and stuff now? I think it's just the style
It's
that
us getting upset.
Portugal, Spain, and Germany, the way they're playing is like you said, the players are getting old. I think the style is getting a little outdated. Look at all the team, look at how Morocco and all the upsets this game are from teams that are not playing like how Portugal, Spain, and Germany played. It's a different style of football that is getting them to get these wins. And sometimes you have to play the style that Portugal and Spain are playing, but you can't just stick with that. It never works. It never works.
We've spent a bit of time on this Portugal bit.
Yeah, we have.
So
I just want to end it off with a little bow tie. Sorry, it's Ronaldo's last tournament, and now it's a new beginning for Portugal. So we'll see how they do in the next tournament. It's pre-Ronaldo and now after Ronaldo.
We say that, but
so I'm hopeful.
we say
Pepe's
that, but
almost 40.
yeah.
Yeah.
We say that, but the last two, I really think what really needs to change is the manager, and I still stand by it.
In general, it's a new change.
Yeah,
not just Ronaldo. But
yeah, more than the Ronaldo thing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I do think we need to move on from that, but yeah. Anyway,
Right.
Semifinals. Let's talk about both of the games really quick. We are an hour and 13 in, so you guys know. Argentina, Croatia.
How long do we usually go? Sorry for
Well, we don't want
1.5.
Yeah. So we don't have that much time.
Alright.
But it's fine. We had a lot of conversations about stuff today, and I went a lot more in depth about certain things.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah.
Argentina, Croatia. You see, this one's tough for me now, because
Yeah, take it.
It sucks. I want Argentina to go through.
I don't know, actually. Fuck.
I want it's a tough one. I want Argentina to go through, but Croatia's experience and the way they've been handling these situations is very impressive to me. Even though they haven't looked amazing, they have the quality to really punish Argentina as well. So it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
Messi.
No, yeah, I was gonna.
Balotama.
He's the X factor, because I was thinking like,
fuck that, fuck him. Enzo Fernandez is the X factor.
No, I was gonna say like, all right,
and he's missing penalties. Okay,
but he's running the midfield for you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, can Argentina
he's good.
Can Argentina break down Croatia? And I was like, I don't know. But then I'm like, oh wait, Messi can break down.
Literally, that's
he's literally.
You wouldn't be where you are without Emi Martinez.
No, for sure. Agreed.
Also,
for sure.
This is Argentina's best keeper in a while.
I think it could be a high-scoring game, because I also don't think that Argentina can defend well against Croatia if they attack, just because of the players that they used to attack, and like they're very strong physical players. It might be tough for Argentina to defend against them if they.
I get what you're saying, because Argentina's defense isn't that physically strong. Besides like Romero. But we also haven't really seen a very goal hungry Croatia this tournament either.
That's what I was gonna say. I feel like Croatia is gonna be like one of those gridlock games. I feel like, but I just feel like Messi magic or
we're at that stage though.
It's either gonna be Messi magic or Modric magic. Like it'll be one of the two. I feel
Modric
like
magic, just Messi magic.
Nah, Modric is a baller, bro. He's so good.
He is.
No, do you know what? This is the one thing though, right? I really, really hope we don't get another Croatia-France final.
No, that's
I really don't want that.
I need Morocco to beat France.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's gonna happen. I need them to put Mbappe in a spliff, and I need them.
That's a good segue to go into go into Morocco, France. I think that'll, yeah.
A little bit of political spice. Morocco used to be a former French colony. It's now like a French protectorate as well. So I think that is a spicy game for people who are from Morocco as well. I think that's a great game.
Even though they beat Portugal, I want Morocco to beat France.
Yeah,
I want Morocco to beat France.
Yeah,
for France making the final again is just so boring.
Yeah. From a mutual
but we all know
it's like, come on now.
Mate, it's another Giroud masterclass. Like how Messi is for Argentina at the moment, Giroud is that for France, man. Like he's just Giroud is a baller.
He's rolling back the years, man. He's rolling.
Mate,
I also want to credit Griezmann. He's been insane for France as well.
Yeah, I thought he was average today.
What? I thought he was probably their best player.
I thought he was bang average today.
Yeah,
I didn't think he was that great at all.
He assisted Giroud. That was his ball.
Yeah, but look at Giroud. Giroud is the baller. He is the GOAT.
We definitely have seen a better Griezmann than the one that we saw at Barca.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Or even the one that's playing for Atleti these days. We've definitely seen Griezmann also roll back the years a little bit. Overall.
I mean, the last World Cup was heavily Griezmann as well. I feel like.
Yeah.
So,
but this one's heavily Giroud.
See, it's so tough because I want Morocco to win, and they've been so defensively solid, and my heart is still telling me Morocco, but France is just France. Like,
no, I feel like this is that type of game where Mbappe thrives.
You think so?
You think so?
You know what?
Because it's not going to be a technical game.
Yeah.
Because it won't be technical.
Bro, did you see Mbappe get away from Kyle Walker today? Probably the only player. There was one bit that even the commentators were like, "Whoa, bro." He gets the ball and he's gone. I know Walker's ego was done.
However, there was also a moment, right, where France were about to counterattack and Jude Bellingham was like, so we're talking pitch again, right? But I'm going to use like goal here, right? So Jude Bellingham is here, and I had this moment where I was watching him, right? Mbappe's here. Mbappe gets the ball, basically takes 3 steps before he's about to run, and I don't know how, but Bellingham has gone from here to tackle him. right?
Bellingham's
And
a
honestly,
baller, bro.
my guy used instant transmission because I was watching him and I couldn't understand how he got from here to here. It was so quick. It was fantastic, man.
Nah,
Like, Bellingham is a baller.
Bellingham
Foden is a
is-
baller. Saka is a baller. I'm excited for England.
Bellingham
Saka's a
is...
baller.
Nah, but this is the first time I've watched Saka. I know what I get from Saka. You know what I mean? Watching the
Yeah.
Prem every week. I know he's a baller. I'm not but I'm just a little more excited on the Bellingham side of things. Just because just like 2 years ago, I was excited about Saka because Saka came into the mold. Right now, and I know Bellingham isn't just coming into the mold. He's been spoken about for so long. But this is my first time properly seeing him a little bit more consistently because I don't watch the Bundesliga consistently. I'll watch highlights and I'll watch the Champions League, but I don't watch it consistently. And that Bellingham is...
And he's 19.
He's not, yeah.
No, the fact that he's 19 is actually crazy.
He's my age.
How does that feel?
Like, that's mental.
Disgusting.
Yeah. No, he has a
It's
huge...
mental.
So, who do we think is going to the final, guys? I honestly... I'm gonna tell
France,
you what,
Argentina.
I want Argentina, Morocco. That's what I want.
That's what I want as well.
What my
No,
heart,
do you know what I
my
actually
gut-
really want?
What?
I really want a Croatia like Morocco final, like
I mean,
just because it's so
Morocco, take
different.
that.
it would be the
Morocco-
it
It's
would be
so
the two
different.
Teams, it would be the two teams
Like-
that people were not really predicting to get.
Yeah, and that's why it's written for Argentina in the stars, though, ain't it, man?
Yeah.
Like,
But I'm
Plot
not gonna
armor.
lie. My heart is telling me like I want Morocco, Argentina, but my heart is telling me France, Argentina. Unfortunately,
yeah,
that is
I actually, from the tournament predictor, I remember you said you had like sussed this out when I had put France in the final, but I predicted an Argentina France final from the start.
Right.
So I feel like I'll just stick to my gut. As much as I want Morocco to beat them,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like France are just gonna have
Yeah.
that edge and get over it.
Maybe the next major tournament that we do, maybe if we're still doing it at that point in time, who knows? We'll do like a tournament predictor like thingy, which would be cool. By the way, I have confirmation. Lucas will be in the episode next week for our
Let's go.
Hey, amazing.
World Cup review. I mentioned to you the viewers before. Lucas is a good friend of all of ours, but his big brother got called up to the Canadian national team, came on as a sub in the first game in the World Cup. So he's going to be talking to us about his experience, and then just overall, we're just going to do the same World Cup review. That'll be right after the final, and that'll be on Sunday, since the final would be on the Sunday. So yeah, good luck to all these teams. Argentina, Croatia is the 13th, which is on the Tuesday, and then we have France, Morocco on my mother's birthday, December 14th.
Moment nerves.
So we will see how that goes. But congratulations to all of these teams, especially to Morocco being the first African team, the first African team to reach the semifinals, and the first North African team. I found out the first North African team to ever get it past the round of 16. So that's pretty cool for them. Argentina, Croatia, France. You guys all know the deal. They're not newbies to this. So, yeah, congrats to all of those guys. It's been a great tournament, so I'm excited to see how it ends up. I'm just going to end this off really quick while I have about 8 to 10 minutes just for some random transfer news that we have. I'm just going to go through a
Talk
bunch
about
of them.
the ones that I saw first, and then do yours. Just because mine are quick.
Okay, yeah, sure. Go.
Yeah, sure. So first one, me and Steven talked about it. If you watch MLS, then you know about João Matinho, Orlando left back. Went to Spezia in Italy.
Confirmed.
He was always one of those players that we kind of was like, he might be too good for the MLS. And he's still really young, so we'll see how he does out back in Europe. Portuguese guy, not the old João Matinho, of course. The other one is Alistair Johnston, confirmed to go to Celtic.
I said that.
The Canadian.
Yep.
You mentioned that. I'm not sure if it was confirmed or not.
It was confirmed last week when I said it.
It was confirmed back then. So yeah, good for him. Good World Cup tournament. And then the last one, which is a real shock to me, Evander Ferreira, the Midtjylland midfielder, who was doing great in the Europa League and great in Denmark, I believe. Midtjylland's in Denmark.
Mhm.
Going to Portland in the MLS for a record fee of $9.8 million, which is crazy for an MLS team to spend that much. Evander Pereira's still only like 23 or 24, so for him to be doing crazy in Denmark and in the Europa League against top teams, to then go to Portland is weird, but also not as weird anymore because the MLS is going like crazy. So yeah, those are just the three that I had, but
Right.
those
Yeah.
are three confirmed.
Yeah. Danny is definitely more of an MLS expert than I am, so that's definitely where a lot of the MLS stuff will be coming from. And about the Johnston transfer from
Mm.
Toronto to Celtic, because of this World Cup, there's a lot of talks about Juranovic, Croatia's starting right back, who is currently at Celtic, getting a transfer away because of how good he's doing this tournament, how good he's been playing for Celtic. So that is their essentially instant replacement. So just a couple things. For anyone else that's interested, you can search these things up and you can read more into it. We have Amrabat, Sofian Amrabat, Morocco's captain, I believe it is. He has had an insane tournament. All the Moroccan team has. So he's being linked to a bunch of Premier League sides. The Liverpool being one of them because they really need a midfielder at the moment.
Went from left wing or right wing to
no,
CDM.
different Amrabat.
Right?
Different Amrabat.
Different Amrabat?
Different.
Okay.
Different Amrabat.
This one used to play for Florentina, right?
I think still does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think still does. Yeah,
Okay.
midfielder. Yeah, different Amrabat.
Okay, cool.
We then had a Canadian guy, young guy Ismail Kone, go to Watford from Montreal, which that's big. He
I did mention to keep an eye out on him, and there you go.
Yep, and that's big for the Canadians having another player out and playing out in Europe. It's just
I
it's
don't
a
think
big,
there's any Canadian in the Prem either, so
yeah, at the current
I don't
moment,
think so.
no.
Nope.
At the current moment,
Nope.
no, I don't think
Nope,
so. No, there isn't. So that's a big move for him. I believe he's only like 18, somewhere between 18 and 20. So hopefully
19, I think.
he does
Something
well
like that.
there. Obviously everyone's going to be linked to Bellingham. Well, everyone, the major teams, Man City, Man United, probably, even though he definitely won't go there. A lot of those big teams. There's a rumor saying that Man City might use Grealish as part of the deal. Doubt
No,
that's happening.
I think it's going to be Liverpool. So
Liverpool.
the
I
reports,
heard a lot of Liverpool.
yeah, reports coming out of the camp at the moment is that he basically gets on really well with the Liverpool lads, like
Say that.
really well, and they've been buttering him up. So yeah, I think the only thing that might put a spanner in the works for United or for Liverpool is depending on the transfer of the clubs and the sale of the clubs.
Right.
That's the only thing that might see him go to Man City.
Yeah.
Or even Arsenal, because apparently Arsenal are really interested in Bellingham and they've got the money to sign him.
So
So
yeah,
that
we'll
would
see. I mean, I
that
do
would-
think
that would be interesting.
Bellingham would thrive at a Man City or at a Arsenal. Liverpool are in a weird transition period, so I don't want to say he'd thrive there. I don't really know. He could thrive there, or well, I don't know. He seems like the type of player that could not
Thrives
thrive
anywhere.
Yeah. To be honest, the type of player that. But you get what I'm saying. As far as what I think would benefit him, I think Arsenal or Man City for me would be more of the spots rather than Liverpool, just because Liverpool in a weird transition period. Frankie de Jong's father, apparently there's transfer talks. Says that there's transfer talks between Man City and PSG for Frankie. I don't really
His
know
father
if that.
said that?
Yeah, his father came out and said that. Again,
I-
these are all
I
rumors,
feel-
speculation.
I think that's cap because just the other day, our sporting director, our being Boston, said that the time to sell Frankie De Jong is past and like they see him as pivotal. And Frankie's been trying to stay at Barca, like he never wanted to leave. So
Right.
I think it's bullshit.
Right. We then have that 62 million transfer of a 16-year-old called Endrick. Aiden sent me a highlight reel. You guys should definitely search it up on YouTube. This guy called
Endrick's 14.
16.
16.
16.
Is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
16.
If it was 14, they wouldn't be able to pay.
Yeah,
seven.
yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah, he is. Sorry, he was in Football Manager at 14. That's why.
Oh.
That's what's thrown me. Oh, my bad.
62 mil, which is insane. That's an insane punt on a 16-year-old. But
Uh-huh.
based off of the highlight reel, again, it's out in Brazil, but based off of the highlight reel, he looks pretty good. So we'll see.
Bro, that
That's
guy
a
looks scary.
Yeah.
Like there's been very few times like I'd look at like a Brazilian player's highlight reel and actually care because obviously it's like the Brazilian league. But the things that man was doing was just
right.
it was literally reminding me of looking at Neymar for the first time.
Yeah.
And I had not felt that in a while. And even though he's 16 and has a lot to go, it really just looked like it's up because
62 mil though is just a lot of money to
I
take a
don't think it is.
16-year-old.
I don't think it is.
Because what if he flops at 62 mil down?
I don't think it is that. It's because of the previous Brazilians that have come at a very young age to Real Madrid and Barcelona and seen how they've thrived. It's very different from the Martin Odegaard situation where it's a European player from a small team, where like you've got Rodrigo, you've got Vicinius Junior that plays for Real Madrid, right? You've got the Brazilian players that are already there. It helps quite a lot. And look how they've shown. Like, mate, those two are some absolute ballers. So yeah.
Bro, I just want to say Vinicius Jr. had been shit since he joined Real Madrid up until last year. And it pisses me off because Real Madrid basically forced him to be good. This man would put up negative stats and do nothing, and they just insisted on playing him. I was telling my friends if he was a Barca player, he would have been sold 3 times already. But they just stuck with him, and now he's
doing what he's doing.
He's good.
Now we know why Barcelona are in such financial troubles.
I mean, that's a whole different story, but let's not get into that. Let's not get into that.
I'm just going to go through 2 or 3. I had a lot, but we just don't have the time. And we're going to be talking about rumors probably all throughout January after the World Cup is done anyway.
For sure.
But some of the things that seem a little more solidified, Roma wants Depay. Barca, even though they need the bread, they're not letting him go for free. They're like, at least give us 2 mil, is what I'm reading. So
nice.
We'll see that and for January. And then one that I feel like definitely has some wheels behind it is Tottenham and Dortmund are gonna go toe to toe to try and sign Daichi Kamada from Eintracht Frankfurt, whose contract is expiring. So that's gonna be a huge talking point because he's definitely not gonna stay at Eintracht Frankfurt. I feel like if those types of teams are coming for him and he only has 6 months left on his contract, he'll probably end up signing a pre-contract to somewhere else, especially with him having this insane season. Yeah, we'll talk about more transfers and stuff at another time. Next week, we'll definitely have a lot more time to talk about some of these things because next week it's just a semifinal and finals review. And we'll have Lucas, which he'll talk to us, but we'll just have a lot more leeway. But yeah, so that is the episode for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. When you see us next, our next episode might be a little later by like maybe a day or 2, just because we want to have our reactions to the World Cup final, which is being played on Sunday. Rather than doing an episode the day before, I just feel like it makes no sense. We'll wait an extra day and then record our reactions to the World Cup as a whole.
Oh,
yes.
Morocco missed a player very quickly as well because he got sent off, didn't he?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I think
just a very quick one.
Someone that got subbed on though. I don't think he's a starter. But yeah,
I think it was the replacement for Saiss. Maybe.
Romain Saiss is injured, so we'll see how that goes.
I think he's probably going to be out for the rest of the tournament. I think now.
I think so.
I think that's the way it'll go. And then they've just lost another defender. So that's a very quick one. And is there any suspensions from the Argentina game?
That I don't know.
Montiel and Acuna, I think. Hold on, let me see. Argentina.
Yeah, that I'm not sure.
In case there's that one person who wants to listen to us and put money on and then realizes like half the team have actually suspended.
I'm not seeing it.
I don't know if you saw 25,000 Moroccans to 1,000 Portuguese fans in the.
Yeah, it's because local fans as well. They've basically got the support of Saudi Arabia at the moment and Qatar because of the
Arab connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's cool to see, to be honest. It's cool to see.
Cool. Right. So just a couple of players from Argentina.
Yep. Again, we'll talk about that once we get there, because that's probably should have looked at that before, but it's fine. Yeah, we actually still went an hour and a half, which shows that we can frickin' talk. It is what it is, though. It's fine. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.
Peace.